Hey, 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 hey! This is Michael from Dark Tranquillity. This is Chaos Sign.
Okay, so what's up everyone? Chaos Sign is today here at the legendary Riff Bar in Helsinki, and we have another legend here, Michael from Dark Tranquillity. How is it going?
It's going well. This is my first time here. Feels fucking
Really?
fantastic. Yeah. For some reason, I haven't been to Helsinki enough, and I've missed this. And it feels fucking great to be in the presence of
The one and only Alexi.
Yeah, my old friend Alexi. So yeah.
So obviously, things are sort of like getting back to normal-ish, and you played a US tour, and now you have been doing European shows. So
Yes.
how has it been?
I think it's been great, but in America you could tell like people were not really ready to go out.
Really?
But
Because you see the other when you see the like show videos and such.
But it was a little bit different. You can tell like there was like a little bit of anxiety and hesitancy to go out.
Okay.
But here it's not at all. So it's been amazing. It was great in America to be able to be like one of the first kind of tours back and stuff like that. And everybody who came out was awesome and so excited to kind of be at a show again.
Yeah.
But here in Europe, like we were worried because like we planned this, of course, like months and months and months ago. It's like, is this going to happen? Or some country's going to be shut down or whatever? Like what's going to happen? But we decided to do it anyway, and it turned out to be fucking perfect timing because everybody wants to get back, and there are not that many tours around, so it's kind of like just us, and everybody's excited. So it's been incredible. Like honestly, like just incredible. Every night is just like you can tell. Like it's kind of like we have this saying, or not. That's this thing in Sweden where you let out the cows in the spring.
Yeah.
And
they're running like
and
mad when they get
and
on
that's
the
what
field.
it feels like with an audience to be in front of an audience. Now.
And I guess it feels also from your side.
Yeah, of course. Like it's like you finally back on a stage and be able to fucking scream at people again and that kind of stuff. It's I love it. Really, really excited.
So nothing to complain about being in planes again and and such.
There's plenty of things.
You had forgotten those bad sides of touring.
I said like to a lot of my friends like, I even remember going. I really even miss like going to the airport, but then I went to the airport and I was like, oh yeah. But being in the tour bus I missed, and that I still love, and going to like a different city every night I missed, and that's been fantastic. And touring like this in a fucking beautiful spring, and it's perfect.
So we are now talking today about Halo Effect.
Yes.
So first off, before we go into the topic more, how did everything like sort of start for you?
Well, it started like in late 19. Me and Niklas were talking, like we were like not trading records, but we were buying records together and that kind of stuff, and talking about music that we love. And he said like, hey, maybe we should do something together, like because he's constantly writing, constantly being creative. So it's like, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I was like in total writing mode for the latest DT album.
Yeah.
So I was already sitting at home in my home studio, with the microphone in my face all the time, and just like trying ideas and recording demos and stuff like that. So I was like, send anything you got, I'll do something, And then he said like, I talked to Peter and Daniel, and maybe they are interested too. And I was like, what? Really? Then it's totally different, because I thought we were just gonna do like a doom metal project or like a stoner rock or whatever. I got no idea. And I was like, okay, then maybe this could be cool, And then Peter called me. It's like, yeah, I'm in. I want to like start something, like do something. And maybe we can get Jesper as well. I was like, really? Like then, of course, I can't say no to that. That's going to be fantastic. Like, and it's also kind of like a thing because I've been on tour all the time and everybody's busy. So even though we've been friends since we were kids, we don't see each other that much. Not enough, So for me, this was kind of like opportunity to just like hang out more. So I was like, yeah, fine, let's do something. So we started, like, Niklas had some songs, and we did a demo, and that felt good, and it was like, all right, let's fucking do this. And then I was like, okay, I'm off. I'm gonna record the new DT album. But then after that, we did like a couple more songs, and it felt good. Like, it was just like very instinctual, very easy going. And we're like, yeah, let's make this happen.
Was it sort of like planned to be more like a studio thing in the beginning, or?
I don't think we had any plans. We just said, like, we want to play together, just have fun,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and just do something, you know. And Niklas was just like, I just want to write metal and like do something.
Okay.
So it was yeah. So after we recorded Moment, we were kind of like, yeah, just in the beginnings of the pandemic, and then we were like, okay, but I have all this free time now, like my calendar is empty.
Yeah.
Let's continue, you know. And then we started more and more, like, writing more and doing proper demos and stuff like that, and it felt great, and we had a blast. And so we're like, okay, should we actually try to get a record deal and all that stuff? And it's like, yeah, let's do it.
And then you just like did this, and you had Nuclear Blast behind you.
I mean, it's a little bit more elaborate than that, but we did. So we recorded like 6 songs, like demos, and we were really proud of them. I remember I just wanted to play it to everyone, but we decided to kind of keep it kind of not secret, but, you know, like, not tell anyone until we were ready.
But that's always good. So then you don't have the pressure behind you.
No, exactly. So we just like we decided to keep it to ourselves for a while, and then we asked some friends to just come to the studio and listen to the song and kind of decide what's going to be the first single. And they said, oh yeah, Shadow Minds, that's the song, like that's really, like, that's going to sell it. So we made a video actually for that, and that was 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago, 2.5. And then we sent it to, and we decided, like, what label do we want, if we want one? And I was like, Nuclear Blast would be obvious, you know. I know the head of Nuclear Blast, I've known him forever.
Yeah. So there's quite a lot of connections.
Yeah. So we just sent it to, like, just this video to him, and he was like, yes. And that was
yeah,
it.
we'll do it.
And then they didn't hear the album or any more songs until the album was done. So that's the level of kind of trust that he has with us, and that we trust them. And I think that's one of the key issues with this band, is that not only do we trust each other, you know, with that kid, like, I don't have to tell anyone what to play and how to perform or anything like that, because the reason we're together is because everybody's great at what they do. You know, so you don't never have to worry. You don't go like, oh, could you play a little bit? Or no, it's like, no, everybody does their thing, you know. And
but that's usually where the magic lies.
Yeah.
If that creative part is sort of like forced, that maybe you should do like this and this and this, then he's not thinking with his own brain. He's just sort of like painting like other guys' picture, basically.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, from Nuclear Blast side, they knew, like, okay, if this is an indication of what you guys can do, fine. We're willing to trust you, and, like, here's the money for a recording, and go nuts. And that was really fucking cool, just to have that, because that meant, like, no one was expecting anything, or there were no expectations other than just do your thing, and that's it, and that's what we did. So we never set out to do anything special or different or whatever. We're just like, what are we good at? Let's play some fucking metal that is heavy and melodic and fast and angry. Yeah. You know,
how was the, like, writing process for the album? Was it like more of like Niklas and you doing the songs, or what kind of, like, involvement had, like, Peter and Jesper and
mostly, like, Niklas wrote most of the song, I think, and then Jesper wrote some, and then they collaborated a lot. So Jesper came in, like, when the album when some of the songs were kind of like, at least, you know, the skeletons were written, but just to add, like, melodies and, like, harmonies and stuff like that. And so I was just given demos. I was like, hey, can you record something into this? And then I did, and that's how it kind of started. So, and then we produced the album together with Oskar Nilsson in Gothenburg, and he's worked with Niklas for a long time, so they really know each other well and kind of really gel well together. So it was very easy to just, like, go to the studio, like, just sat there. We had like the basic idea of a song, and then it kind of grew from there. And then I just started writing together. So it was really freeing to do that. You know, obviously, like with DT is very different because then you have to kind of reinvent yourself every time because you want it to be different from anything you've done in the past.
Yep.
Because there's been so many years of like writing music together, whereas this was just like I can do anything, doesn't matter. Like, no.
But there's still 5 ex-In Flames members involved. So
Yeah.
do you consider that like a blessing or a curse?
I mean, it can be a little bit of both, but the way I see it is that it's basically we were friends before In Flames or Dr. Quilty.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of like what the band that we formed in '92 or something like that would have been like, you know. But we've had the added experience now to do it in a different way. So of course, like of course, there's baggage there. You know, there's like, oh yeah, but also there's.
But were you like talking about like the direction, or was it like just like natural thing that you made songs and it sounds like it does?
Yeah, we decided to just like, hey, we can do anything. Like it doesn't matter. Just like let's make music that feels good. And those first kind of demos were very indicative of like, okay, wow, we're going in a direction that we like, and this is easy. So and I guess we decided early on that let's rather not invent something new, but rather play to our strengths. It's like, what are we good at? Like, what can we do that we know we are good at?
Yeah, you formed a certain scene back in the day.
so that's why it was kind of so much easier to put together songs too, because it's not like you have to be original or anything. It doesn't have to be something unique. It just have to be really good, and that's all that mattered. So and that's what we said. Like, if it feels good, then we do it. Otherwise, we won't. Like, we're at a certain age and a certain like a level of experience that like fuck it. It's like we're not gonna force anything out of this. We're gonna make sure that this is a fun, cool project where we have like a great time writing together, a great time recording and playing. And that's it. Like that's the main kind of draw for us.
So was it sort of like a therapy thing also during these times when everything is sort of shut down and tours aren't happening? And
not for me, because I was already so busy and doing all kinds of stuff. But it really helped to kind of like stay focused and stay kind of in it, and also. It was great to kind of reconnect with old friends. I think that's what really made it like such a great experience for me, is because, you know, I'm constantly traveling and we don't see each other enough, I think, you know. So finally, like, we can just hang out in the studio and just like talk about music and write a little bit, record some, and just hang out and kind of like talk about the good old days when we met in the early 90s, and or talk about just like records we love and concerts we love.
Yeah, I guess you are all share that in common, that you are
we
all
do.
like metal music fans and fans of music in general.
Of course. And but we rarely get to see each other, and so this was a great opportunity for that. So that I really loved, and then just doing something at home as well. Like, you're stuck. You're not going out that much. You're not like seeing people. So it was basically just home studio, family, and bands. That's all I met like during the pandemic. But it was great because it was like either it was DT or Gracadaver or Halo Effect. It was just like a really, really good time and super creative. So I mean, creatively, this has been the best years of my life creatively, but it's also been miserable in many other ways. But at the same time, I kind of, maybe I needed this just to...
Yeah, I was actually going to say next that you sort of, I guess, needed also a bit like recharging, but because you are the guy who's pretty much all the time like on the road, and DT is very active like touring wise, and it's always been like that.
So it was good, just like spending more time with family, and also like spending more time like just like creating stuff and writing and like doing that, because sometimes that's just very stressful because we have a limited time to do it, you know.
Yep.
Where you're just like, okay, we need to record an album like within the next whatever 6 months, and we need to write it now, and then we're gonna go on tour, and everything is planned already. But here, it was a clean slate, and you can just like, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
And that really helped. Like, so I'm confident, like in the future, 10 or 20 years ago, we're gonna look back at, these 2 years as being like musically some of the most creative and cool kind of years, just because of all the collaborations and different musical projects that has happened because of this.
Yeah, because otherwise you probably wouldn't have time to do any of
No,
those.
of course not. Then it would just be an idea or a couple of demos here and there. And
Nothing is gonna be like completed ever.
Exactly.
So Days of the Lost is the title of the album, and it's gonna be out on 12th of August.
Yep.
So speaking about like the lyrical aspects of the album, did you had like a clear vision where you wanted to go lyric wise?
I guess I did, and I wanted to capture like that, what was pivotal for us in the beginning of our kind of like metal journey.
Yeah.
What mattered when we were 15 and 17, when we met and when we started hanging out together, and it was because of music. Like that's how we bonded, that's how we met, all of us. Like me and Peter, we met because of course his older brother Anders, and I was always hanging out with him in his room and listening to music. And then Peter came in, and then we became friends. Daniel I knew because he went to school with my brother.
Ah, okay, so that's
and he
the
played in a
connection
band
then.
called Sacrilege, and I loved, and I knew those guys, so I always went to see them, and I loved their music. And Niklas, our first ever show before even Dark Tranquillity was together with his old band Sarcasm.
Okay.
And so yeah, and Jesper I met at a Grotesque show or something like that in the late 80s.
Yeah. So it was very small scene back in the days.
It was very small. So and of course now that we're older, we have kids in that age, that are that the same age that we met at, that kind of thing. So I was trying to kind of like capture that feeling. What was it like? What was it about that time or that age that kind of makes you the person you are today? Like, how do we kind of forge our personalities, And for us, it was metal music. It was that kind of like sense of being stranger than everyone else, or weirder, or into something that no one else was into, and to feel kind of, you felt unique and you felt different, but at the same time, like that meant you didn't have many friends, and you were being picked at and fucking bullied in school, and you were that kind of weirdo that it was easy to kind of poke at.
Yeah.
And all of us have struggled in some sense with that, even though it was something that we were proud of and we liked, but we was still always kind of considered to be
outsiders in a way.
For sure. And so that's like the reason for the title is like we were very lost at that point. You had no idea what you wanted to be. Like your parents expect something from you. Like maybe you should take the path of what your dad did, whatever. But that wasn't interesting at all. And it's like, what do you go like? What do you want to work with? What do you want to be like? What a career? Like I had no idea. But then metal happened, and then that was it. Like that's everything we talked about, everything we thought about all the time. Everything else was secondary and unimportant, and not worth your time basically.
So do you feel that this album is sort of like a concept album, or do you feel that it's more like separate tracks around the topic?
But I try to kind of think about the other guys as well. Like I know what Peter was like when he was a kid, like how he grew up, and like the kind of different issues that he had. I know what Jesper has dealt with his entire adult life.
Yeah.
And I know who Daniel is, and I know who Niklas is, and where his kind of like life. So I try to kind of take inspiration from that, because we've had a very similar kind of history, but at the same time, like it's very personal as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I try to kind of take that into consideration as well. So it's a lot about like bullying and being, and also like falling into like bad patterns like addiction and that kind of stuff, and also like finding that passion and feeling like part of something bigger, and also like the allure and like the draw of metal music. What was that? Like, why did we get so sucked into it? Like, what was it that kind of grabbed us and told us like, there's nothing else in life than this, and just like you have to fucking pursue it with all your passion, and made us, you know, start tape trading and collecting records and contacting people all over the world just to hear more of it, you know. That kind of passion, like just trying to kind of explore what it was about that, and then maybe what it says about us, that we just like forgot everything else and just focus on that. So it's not like, well, yeah, we love metal. It's more like, what the fuck did we miss out on?
Yeah, you know?
What did we not do? You know, because of what we decided to do. You know.
I was listening to the album through like a couple of times before this interview, and I must say that it's actually very, very good. And the song that like popped up from me after like few spin is "A Truth Worth Lying For."
Yeah, cool.
Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. And that's one of the later songs that we wrote, I think, and something that we worked on a lot just to get it right. And there's not a lot of clean vocals on the album at all. It's like 2 songs or something like that, but that's one of them. But it's I think like what's cool, like this, Niklas wrote the song, and he has like this really big, like epic melodies, you know, and this like, big chorus.
That song has like very epic melodies.
Yeah, and for me it was like, it kind of feels like it can't be like. I was always afraid like to make comparisons, like what would it sound like? This song could have been an In Flames song, and so you're trying to kind of do the opposite of what would happen if it was an In Flames song. Maybe I try not to think about that, but of course I sometimes do. But it was just like big and cool, and like and lyrically it was just about knowing that who you are is not something that you can be always 100% honest about. Like the way your life is just like, it's not for everyone, and it's not like for not everything is for sharing, you know. And so like hiding that maybe big part of your character to someone else, or you know, people around you, is sometimes necessary, you know, because of, and so it's basically, it's like, I can identify all these things in the guys in the band and in my friends. Like there are certain things that we all know about each other that we accept, and it's fine, but it's maybe not something that you need to communicate or share. You know? So that keeping part of you a secret is weird, but at the same time very necessary.
So there's obviously, after the album comes out, there's a massive European tour coming with Machine Head and Amon Amarth.
Yeah.
So in terms of like playing live, and obviously everybody knows, and Jesper has been also like quite open about his struggles with addictions. How is he doing at the moment, and will he be involved with touring activities, and how does it look?
Yeah, I mean, right now it looks great. Like, he's doing really well. They've been rehearsing like crazy back home in Sweden, and so I look forward to coming home and playing with the guys. So the plan is of course, like he wants to, but we are of course aware and respectful of him.
Life on the road isn't always easy, and everybody knows it.
No, exactly. So maybe this is not the best environment. So, but we want to like leave it up to him, and just like if you want to, if you can, then go. But we're always gonna like have a backup plan, just in case, just to make sure that he's comfortable and he's fine with it. So yeah, we'll see. But the plan is to always have Jesper, of course. Like I cannot wait. Like I'm dying to. I haven't been on stage with Jesper since '93 when we played a show in Hamburg with In Flames. So I really want that.
I feel that he's like one of the most like underrated guitarists of like in the genre of metal, because he's been involved with a lot of like amazing songs during his career.
Yeah, and he's like, he has such a natural ear and such a natural kind of talent for it as well. So that was one of the highlights, of course, of the writing process, or when we just sat in the studio and we had like this, you know, middle section of a song or something like that, and he was like, let me try something. I was like, okay, that is fucking fantastic. Yeah, just go for it, you know, that kind of stuff. They just like this natural instinct that just sits there, and so that was and again that was one of the highlights of the recording at all, just to have like this really natural flow of things. You know, Niklas is very instinctual, and Jesper is really like that. He doesn't overthink things or anything like that. He trusts his own kind of ability, and that makes it so much easier. And I think we all do. And because I'm normally want to always second guess myself, and you know, it's like, oh, is this good enough? Is this,
yeah.
Here it was just like, fuck, doesn't matter. You know, let's just make what we can.
But if you have a look for the classic rock albums, they are always made in an instinct, like in certain time period, and not like overthought.
No, that's true.
So, I guess the secret lies there.
Yeah, it's a big part of the secret. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and no, so that's what I want for this band, like to get like into a reasonable amount of shows every year and that kind of stuff, and just like keep going and have this be a good kind of channel for Jesper to express himself, and also just fucking hang out and just like talk about the, you know, good times and that kind of stuff. And that, because that's for me, my experience with this so far has been just hanging out with my friends and just sitting in the studio, just laughing about bullshit and drinking way too much coffee and just like being like old friends again, that kind of thing.
So before we wrap things up, I want to ask you a bit about the future of Dark Tranquillity. Yeah. So how does it look? Have you already finished another album worth of stuff, and will actually Christopher be involved more in the songwriting?
Yeah, well, we're gonna tour all year basically. We've done 86 shows so far this year.
Very good amount of shows.
Yes. So, and we got a lot of festivals, and then we got another tour in the winter coming up. And then we're gonna get back into writing a bit in the summer, and then next year it's gonna be writing. And I really want Chris to be a big part of it, because he's awesome. And so we'll see. But Johan is gonna be a big part of it. Martin writes a lot, and.
So are there like new members already, like official members, or do you still consider them as touring guys, or is it sort of really, like an open thing that you haven't even discussed about?
It's kind of like an open thing, but everybody like on this tour is, I think we sound better than we ever have, and I'm super happy with where things are.
So chemistry wise, everything is going like very well.
Amazing, and so I really look forward to getting back to writing, but it feels kind of far off now because there are so many shows booked.
Yeah.
But I probably it's going to start this summer, and then we're going to like maybe record next winter or something like that.
Yeah. But we'll see. That's far in the future.
Yeah. But we have so much.
Just enjoy the shows now when you can play them.
And it's so much catching up to do. Like there's so many tours
you
that
released a very good album, and you were like,
and now finally
now
we
you
can
can
tour
finally
for it.
do stuff
and also like and really not being able to do anything or have any kind of income for 2 years. It means like we have to really get out there and do this, and so far it's been an absolute blast.
Hey, thanks a lot once again, for the chat, and all the best for the future. Anything you want to say as a closer to your fans?
I'm just fucking incredibly happy. It was weird, like 4 weeks ago I couldn't even see us coming here because it felt so distant, but now we're here, you know. it's amazing. I've missed Finland a
Looking
lot.
forward to the show.
I am. It's gonna be amazing.
Thanks.
Skål.